This is episode 126, Red Leaf Retrocast, Retro Gaming. Joey, your theme pick today. Very easy one. I loved it.
Yes, very, very easy one. Something I wanted to do for a little while, but takes the blame off me, you know? If the games are good, then that's me. If the games are bad, well, that's on Reddit, because Reddit recommends.
I rather enjoyed this. I was quite surprised. I knew of one of the games going in because I have it and I've dabbled, but never actually tried to get like a high score or anything. There's a teaser for you, but yeah, surprisingly good theme here.
Yeah, I know. I was a little shocked too.
Especially the second game that we'll get to, but holy crap.
Yeah,
Colin.
that one actually surprised me.
Colin, you're here.
Yes, I am.
Canada's playing in the World Cup right now. I know you're just edge of your seat.
That would be if I hadn't been laid up with the flu the past couple of days.
Yeah, I'm feeling under the weather myself right now. Get all these podcast recordings in before I go down for the count. I can feel it. Okay, so lots of stuff. I finished the flooring in my basement, Joey.
Sweet.
Came out pretty well. Now, and for Black Friday, I got a excessively large television, which that was fun. So I actually got a message yesterday saying they got it and I can go pick it up. And I went, all right, no problem. I got a car. Throw those back seats down. It's like 2 inches too big to fit in the car. And I just had
no.
Yeah, they rolled it out. We tried to get it in. It took like 4 seconds before we went, nope, head down. I'll come back tomorrow. It's a 65-inch TCL QLED, 120 hertz. It's got the HDMI 2.1. It's the exact TV I wanted, except it's also like 15 inches bigger than I anticipated buying. But boy. Look, the Black Friday deal had the 50-inch, the 55-inch, and the 65-inch, and they were all the same price. So why would I not just get the biggest one?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Do I want to have the biggest thing? I'll take the small thing for the exact same price. That seems smart.
Yeah, you're just not going to do that. Especially when you go up in price like that and it's like double. So I'll be getting that later on today. I got a friend with a van, so we'll go pick that up. And then the trial and tribulations of putting this wall mount up. Guys, I don't know if you've ever put a wall mount up. I sure haven't. I open this box, and it's like I'm flipping open a pack of condoms with all these different types of screws and nuts and bolts. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Isn't it just like 4 screws and then you're in? No, it is not. There's like 15 packets of screws with a thick book like I'm reading an NES instruction manual.
Oh, yeah, they're set up for multiple different sizes. So
like, holy shit.
Depths for the TVs, yeah. And that's why they're universal. All those screws aren't going to be used, but you only need probably about 6 to 8 of them.
Yeah, so the wall that's like set up in the basement, it's I can't just do the whole cantaloupe tapping, make sure it's ripe kind of situation to find the stud in the wall, so I had to go buy a stud finder. Then I come to find out there's no battery included, so I gotta go get that. Oh, such a trial. This is like one thing after another. Then I realized the tool set I got weeks back to do the flooring doesn't have drill bits. I gotta go get those.
Oh no.
Home ownership, guys.
Yep, that sounds like any normal project. Even if you think you have everything, you don't.
No. I'm missing like one key element for the next step. But
yeah, when I was doing my floors, I was like that. I was like, I got everything I need. And I was like, I forgot the tape for the matting underneath. So I had to do another trip. And then afterwards, I'm like, I forgot this one little thing that's like $2, but I can't do without it.
Yep, and it was it was multiple trips to both Lowe's and Home Depot because one of them always never had the thing I needed. I mean, I needed this the right angle ruler. Lowe's sold out. Had to go to Home Depot.
Oh.
And then I'm at Home Depot. I need this thing. Sold out. Go to Lowe's. Like, fuck. Back and forth. But Joey, thank you for sending me that little how-to video because I had 2 poles in the basement. And I was like trying to figure out ways. So I don't have a jigsaw, right? So I had to figure out how to measure and calculate with a tool that I don't have. So I had to work around that. And the first one, I did it, but it didn't come out like perfect. But there was a cool tip I found on another site where if you have a floating floor in the basement, that you kind of want to have a small gap in between boards, at least one of them at the whole floor. That way, when things shift and roam around, and any dust that develops underneath, when you step, it'll naturally aerate itself out. I thought that was a cool little tip. But yeah, the couch. I got a friend giving away a couch. We'll go pick that up Monday or Tuesday or whatever, and putting things together. Putting things together for the man cave.
Your house is coming together slowly.
Yeah, I found my Black Friday was like kind of working around other things I need, and I've come up with a gaming room setup loosely, and I'll have to get some supplies from work of just like scrap to reinforce this little shelf that I got from Target. It's supposed to be for like shoes, but it's like the perfect height, and it was cheap. It was like $10. I just need to reinforce it with other 2x4 situations because they won't support a television. It's funny on the literal instruction manual and a sticker on the side of one of the pieces of wood. It says, "Do not put a television on top." So I'll work a way around that, and I've been watching a lot of gaming room YouTube videos of various YouTubers of all kinds, kind of showing off their game rooms, right? They're all the same. And I got really irritated. I was like, can I like get some good ideas I can steal from you guys? Because they're all just, here's a shelf. It's a wall of games. Let's go through the wall of games. This is my NES collection. Yeah, I don't really collect this anymore. They pull out like one game that you can't even find. I love this game. This is a good one. Underrated. Puts it back. Moves on. This is my Sega collection. I'm not really a Sega guy. It's just they're all like that, and it's just a pile of shit, right? And there's no way to actually like keep track of what they're doing, and there's no. It never feels like there's a like setup. Know what I mean? It's just a conglomeration of stuff.
Gotcha.
I like the setups that some people do where they get like those bookshelves from like IKEA that are all squared up and they have each console and each thing. Each one of the squares has a different console. I think that looks pretty good.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm gonna go for is the square console setup on the bottom, and then I'll have some CRTs underneath, and these shoe shelves that I got that I'll reinforce. Can't stress that enough. I must do that. There's actually gonna be enough space in between where I could have like display shelves or something going up the sides of them, and I can either put more consoles there, which I think that's what I'm gonna do, or I can put actual display things where I can have a display shelf of a certain theme of a game franchise that I like Final Fantasy or something. I saw a few YouTubers have things like that scattered around the room, where they'll have a cool little glass display tower with things like that, various figurines or games and game manuals that they can show off. So I thought that was a good idea, and I think I'll do that with the consoles kind of going up the sides. And there was another one I saw where this was actually like on a website. It wasn't a YouTuber, where I got the CRTs underneath idea, where you have a long wall, and what you do is you kind of dedicate a section of the wall with different seating arrangements where it almost looks like a home arcade setup. So I kind of took a lot of inspiration for that one. And then there was another cool one where you can actually, and I think the Angry Video Game Nerd actually has this as well, where on his back wall, it's just tiny, it's like tiny skinny shelves. And then he just has the various cartridges lined up on that. so it doesn't take up a lot of real estate. So a lot of options I have with a whole basement kind of dedicated to these things. So that's what I've been up to. Joey, you've been playing a lot of PS5 games with your brand new PS5 you bought live on the podcast last time.
Yep, and I got it actually the Tuesday afterwards, so within 2 days, which was crazy to me because it said it was going to take over a week. So that's cool. And then I started playing God of War Ragnarok, and I played it for 40 hours.
Oh my god. And you beat it.
Yes. Yes. And I killed every single one of those raven crow things. Fuck them birds.
You know, birds right up there with children. You know.
Yeah. Fuck them. I wasn't planning on killing them all before I beat the game, but
it just ended up that way.
Right before I was about to do like the last chain of missions or quests, I had 37 or 47 already killed. So I was like, you know what? Might as well just go hunt down the last 10 and just get this done before I finish the game. I mean, if you're just playing, you're going to find the ravens. They're not going to be that hard to kill, but you can kill them all.
Now, does it have a cool little open world setup like the one before did with you're in the rowboat and you're going around the big snake?
Yeah, it's not just rowboat. Because you're not too much in Midgard. Because you flee Midgard and you go to Sindri's house, which is actually in the world tree.
Okay.
So in the realm between realms.
Gotcha.
But when you are in Midgard, you're doing a sled that's pulled by 2 wolves.
Oh, I saw that video. Okay.
And then in the elf area, you're doing a sled pulled by 2 weird-looking wolves through the desert. So there's that. There's a boat in the dwarf area that you use. And in Vanaheim. So there's different things like that. So but yeah, you go into every realm this time. There's not a realm you don't touch. So
I'm trying to remember. There was maybe it was like God of War 2 or something where you went through doorways like that?
Yeah, well, Sindri sets up a way for them to get around through Mimir's head. So you open up the doorways that you used to use to fast travel in between realms.
Yeah.
Now use that to go everywhere. So you just hit the door and you can go to a different realm as long as there's an active door.
Okay.
So I like that. It was a way around since the temple got destroyed. The magic wasn't working anymore.
Right. It's all kind of coming back to me. Okay.
Yeah. I really liked the story. It got convoluted a little bit, but it felt real. Like the characters actually made decisions that made sense and had flaws and whatnot. In the beginning, I started not liking the kid because he's an annoying fucking teenager.
Sure, yeah, of course.
But I
don't
mean,
like kids.
the character growth between him and Kratos is really good. So he learns that he doesn't know everything and he's not indestructible. So pretty good lessons to learn. I like that you don't just play with Kratos and Atreus. There are times where they're split up, so you have different sidekicks. And there's a total of I think 6 different people that you play with.
Wow.
So, well, you're only either Kratos or Atreus, but there's other people that travel along, like Sindri and Brock are 2 of them, and then there's 2 couple of characters I won't mention because it's story. But yeah, it's interesting. It does get a little annoying with puzzles because whoever the hell you're with is quick to be like, "Oh, what about doing this?" When you're just
I read about that. It gives you all of 10 seconds, and then it's like, "Hey, here's the answer, bitch."
It wasn't all the time, but sometimes it was instantly. I'm like, "Cool." And there's other times where I'm like, "I really could use the help," and they're just silent. I was like, "You fucking assholes!" It's like the one time I needed it, and you're just standing there.
Oh boy.
But yeah, it's rather long, but I really like the story. I think it's pretty much a great sequel because it just builds off of what you have. You do get another new weapon that's part of the story. So that's nice. And then you have a 3-weapon setup that you slowly build out. I haven't done it yet, but what I hear is if you max out one of the level of one of the armors, you can then change the look of it. So you can have the stats of what you want and then change to whatever other armor to make it look like whatever you want, which I think is pretty cool.
I think it was Horizon Zero Dawn where you could actually build up stats, and you could, I could be wrong, but you could wear, like, say that you like the fire armor, but your stats were permanent into you. I think that was it. I could be wrong.
I don't think it was, no, because they had different stuff. Because that one they had like the stealth build, the heavy build or whatnot. So their armor did have stuff. And then if you got the ancient armor, it had like a regenerating shield.
Yeah, it
which is what I
must be a different
used.
game I'm thinking of. But I remember one did that, and I thought that was cool, where aesthetically you could have whatever you want as long as you had the build. Then it was just
Yeah.
in your character.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
maybe
not
it was
sure.
a separate selection. It's like, I want this armor stats, but I want the aesthetic of it. It might have been two different options, but obviously can't
Yeah.
remember the game right now.
Yeah. So, but I definitely recommend. I know you're going to start playing it as soon as you get your TV set up. So,
A TV and a couch. It's kind of important.
yeah. But you'll be. I like because I also started playing Forbidden West, which I complained about to you. And I haven't even played any other missions past the intro. The intro was
Long
way too
intro.
long. Yeah, and it's just annoying because there's a lot of cutscenes, and like I had to start cooking Thanksgiving dinners. So I was like, I gotta go. I wanted to maybe play 30 minutes to an hour, and I was like an hour and a half in, so I just started skipping dialogue just so I can get to a save point.
Did you? I'm trying to remember. Did you get to the like Cobra robot giant battle?
Yeah.
At the start.
Yeah, you have to do that. Like there's that's the beginning part. Yeah, where you
that
knock
took a
down the
while, I
shuttle.
remember.
And then there's even more after that until you finally get to a place to save, which is really annoying. I didn't want to just like
Well, I mean,
not
there's a lot of
save and-
there's a lot of autosave for you for sections, so you can just kind of put it down and
I just don't trust that because it didn't have any like save point. And
no hard save
The weather
point.
here.
Don't trust.
yeah, the weather here in Houston was crazy. I didn't want to like lose power and then have to start over because I wanted to have to do that mission again. So, but that was contrasting to how the story was in Ragnarok. Like you just live the story and the story happens around you. Yeah, there's some cutscenes, but they're not like dominating. Most of the story can also happen while you're walking around talking. And I really like that. So it's a super narrative game, but the game comes first. But it feels like Forbidden West, the narrative comes first, and then the game's built around it.
Well, there's that. So it was it God of War? I think it was either God of War or Uncharted, where I think it's God of War. I think it was the last one where it finally took advantage of the PS4's hardware, where it would have a cutscene and then it would just seamlessly transition into the game, and you didn't even know that it did it because it was like it really felt like the next level of immersion in trying to in doing the storytelling and gameplay like that. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That's what made it so good, and got me thinking. The more you kept talking about Ragnarok, is this God of War franchise. Like even at its lowest points, it still felt like they were trying new things and trying to evolve each game of the franchise. And when they ran out of ideas for that style of gameplay, they changed it up to whatever the next generation was heading towards, and that's how we ended up with this newest God of War series. And I gotta give the Santa Monica Studios like a ton of credit in being able to do that, because the first game came out 2005.
Yeah, that was
right?
a while ago, somewhere around
I
there.
think so.
Yeah, so now we're at 17 years of development for this franchise, and it's just a crazy great success. I kind of wish
Yeah,
more studios would kind of take note of that.
Yeah, they changed the game up from being a button masher to this new thing, but they kept the story going. They didn't reboot it like Tomb Raider. They just kept it going, which I really liked about this one because characters are finally learning more about Kratos. So Mimir be like, "Oh, I've heard about this," and he's like, "That is true." He's like,
The memes coming out of Ragnarok is hysterical. Colin, I sent one in Discord. Did you watch that one?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's like I think it's Freya, and she's like wants him to go like get some fucking flour or some shit, and then it just seamlessly transitions, and he just goes, "I'm the fucking God of War. What am I doing this for?" So people just have a bunch of memes of Kratos doing like random tasks, and it just cuts to him. It's like, "Kratos, will you cook these eggs? Cook these eggs? I'm the fucking God of War.
Yeah, I think the flower one. I think that's from the first game though.
Pass
When
the salt. I'm the fucking God of War, not passing some salt.
But yeah.
Apparently, that line came off as as just like a reaction from the voice actors, and they all cracked up so hard that they just kept it in.
I do like the voice actor of Kratos. I like him as an actor. So
He's good. He's very grizzled. If they do, yeah, I hope to see him in like a lot of other games going forward. He does an excellent job.
yeah, I watched some behind the scenes of it, and he seems to really enjoy it. And for the fact that it took 4 years between games, so even the voice actor that was playing Atreus also grew up kind of with the character itself. So he pointed out, he's like, I was working when I was a kid, now he's a teen, so that dynamic is the same as in the game because he's aging with him.
Yeah, that's pretty cool when you get stuff like that. Well, I'm looking forward to playing that game and diving back into Forbidden West. I mean, as you've heard on this podcast, I've put a lot of my modern gaming aside during the move, buying the house, building shit in this house so I could actually get comfortable and everything. So it's just a couple podcast games and just listening to you guys. It's really what I've been doing.
I'll be playing Forbidden West, although it seems daunting because I looked at the map and I see what small little area I'm at and how big the map is.
Oh, map's huge. But the world, if there's definitely one thing I think they improved upon from Zero Dawn is the transition from kind of mission part of the world to the next part of the world. It seems much quicker and easier to get from point A to point B, while Zero Dawn got a little daunting in between those points.
Yeah, well, pretty much you had to get like the free fast travel to really do anything.
Right. Yeah, and Forbidden West, they definitely did an upgrade where the fast travel is definitely the purpose of that is to revisit places, and the story continues and gets you to these points, progressing through the map a lot better. I do like that. Now, I'm very curious at how you're going to react to the dialogue of Aloy throughout, because a common complaint is definitely her, like, she talks a lot more, and she's kind of this sarcastic, just
she
negative.
Seems like a bitch, even.
Oh, yeah. But you kind of understand. It's like, no matter what she does, everything goes wrong all the time. Everyone... And, yeah, I
like in the beginning, even when the other tribeman shows up and she's like an asshole to him. You can't do this. Only I could do this. You're not gonna be safe. He's like, bitch, he just traveled all the way across the land. You just did, and he didn't lose his gear. You lost all your gear, and he didn't. And you say like, oh, yeah. You can't do this, bitch.
Bitch. It's kind of the whole thing. It's funny. I'm definitely finding myself less inclined in Forbidden West. I'm trying to remember, obviously, but to do a lot of the side missions. But we'll see. I just remember
I've only done the side mission because I wanted to help the chef out. I liked him.
I did do that one, but there was a couple more in that beginning area that I was not a fan of. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to get this grass root over here.
I don't like the climbing. I think they went a little too free flow with it, that it's hard to do sometimes. Like it
felt like an early Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'll be playing it. I don't know if I'll beat it by the time we have the next podcast, but I'll definitely be playing it.
All right. Colin, you've been quiet? Been watching Canada? Is that what you're doing? Side-eyeing Canada in the World Cup? What's the score?
Maybe not.
1-0 Canada.
Still 1-0. All right. They're playing Costa Rica, right?
I don't know.
Sorry. 1-1.
No,
Croatia
that's terrible news.
Yeah, Croatia literally just scored after I gave you an update.
Who did Costa Rica play? Japan? They played Japan. That's what that was.
They're in a different group.
Yeah. Croatia. Luka Modric. Asshole. So Colin, you've been sick. Besides that, have you been able to watch anything, play anything?
Well, last night I finally finished Danganronpa V3.
Was it worth it?
Your mileage may vary. 'Cause
Oh,
the
boy,
ending
I don't
is
like
just plain. No matter your stance, the ending is just plain ridiculous. 'Cause it just goes all over the place with the meta shit. It's like, for a good while, it's telling you that the whole killing game in the game was just a reality show inspired by the Danganronpa game series. By which I mean the universe this game takes place in is not the same universe as the previous Danganronpa installments, but those installments still exist as works of fiction in this game's universe.
Oh,
Confused yet? Confused yet? So am I.
that sounds terrible.
But then at the very, very end, it pulls the ambiguity card and tries to say, nah, it's still in the actual Danganronpa universe. Just kidding. Or are we? You be the judge.
I hate that. I hate the sound of that so much. That's so aggravating. Just tell me the story. My God.
I mean, you want my opinion, you don't really need to play this yourself. Just watch the Game Grumps do it. At least you'll get some funny commentary along the way.
But they haven't played V3.
That's what I'm saying. Wait for them to play it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if they play it. If they do.
They probably will.
Maybe.
But
it takes them a while.
Yeah. I don't know. Now that I've had time to process, as in sleep on it, I think the entire ending was meant to throw shade at people in the real world. That is to say, our real world, who wanted Danganronpa to go on forever and ever. Painting them to look like psychopaths who just wanted beloved characters to kill each other over and over.
I guess.
Of course, the ending also drags on and on and on. I mean, seriously, Return of the King would tell this game to chill the fuck out.
Oh boy.
Or get a fucking editor. It's like it literally took 5 hours to get through the final trial and then some. And so much of it was the characters just talking in circles or repeating themselves over and over. But then again, that's Danganronpa dialogue for you. But at the very least, this seems to be a definitive end for the series as a whole, and I think that's for the best. Speaking on it for myself, I'm all Danganronpa'd out.
Yeah, I mean, I got that way after the end of the second game, and I'm like, I was thinking to myself, unless I hear you, Colin, say 3 is absolutely like a must-play kind of worth it thing, don't really have that interest for it.
Yeah, V3, I don't think you need to play. I still somewhat recommend the Danganronpa 3 anime because that explains like the backstory leading up to Danganronpa 1 and 2 as well as what happens afterward. But that's up to you.
Okay. Did I have anything?
And it doesn't take nearly as long as this thing.
I don't think I had anything else I wanted to bring up. I was really more interested in Joey's God of War and Horizon talk, but if that's it, then I think we can get into our topic, eh?
I guess so.
I guess so. Let's see. What? Oh, I did want to ask you guys this as I get the drop ready. How do you guys feel about like game posters on the wall in a game room? Like kind of your favorite franchise or something on the side?
I kind of like that idea.
So I guess not issue, but the difficulty in tackling that would be it would take away the idea of shelf space for, I guess, showing off a lot of the games you got kind of situation.
So you can put it behind the shelf a little bit and have the games in front of it. Yeah, the poster's not going to be your main thing, but it's still going to be there.
Oh, like a mini shelf, you have the poster and then the games are next to it?
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be kind of cool.
If you cover up the bottom of it a little bit, if the poster, depending on what the poster looks like, you can probably obscure a little bit of the bottom.
Oh, that's a pretty cool idea. I'll have to explore that a little bit more. Look at you, Joey. Got these ideas. All right, so I got the drop ready. It's loading. Still loading. It's gonna play. I swear. It's gonna happen. Here it goes. do like that Shatterhand drop that came. Probably say that each time, but that was a very memorable game for this podcast, surprisingly enough. Okay, we are 30 minutes in. Joey, Reddit recommends. How did you come up with this topic? This theme topic?
Well, I figured if most people are trying to get into retro games, what are you going to do? Hey, what retro game should I play? And a lot of times you're just going to tack on that Reddit at the end. So let's see if Reddit actually is a good place to get some ideas for gaming. So I literally just typed in Google, retro games recommend Reddit, and I think the one I picked out of was from like 7 years ago. So, but I mean, retro games aren't changing as long as they're past before 2000. Am I right? Right, guys?
Yeah, I'd say that's
we
true.
We don't want anything past 2000. Those aren't retro.
There are people that really believe that once you pass the year 2000, it's considered modern, and all I have to do is go, bro, that's like 20 years ago.
22 years ago.
Yeah. I was like, come on. Those are literally antiques.
Yeah, especially in the gaming world.
Yeah, I mean, just because you don't think time keeps going, that doesn't mean it. I mean, we're next podcast. I'm gonna have a game that's like just under the year minimum. So, but you're right. You know, when I was starting to collect retro games and really dive into kind of what the best is on a system, or hidden gems is always something you type into Google. You know, you go to Reddit or various other websites and you get a list, and you don't know what's actually good or bad until you maybe look up a YouTube video, but then that's a crapshoot because they could be really good at the game, and then you put it in, you go, man, I'm shit at this. I don't like this game at all. What do you mean hidden gem? This is garbage kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, I know when Reddit recommends movies, I'm probably not going to like it. My taste in movies are different than what Reddit likes. So when it comes to game, I was like, we'll see. And actually, one of the games I picked, I thought maybe I was going to hate, and it turned out I actually liked it. So, but we won't get to that one first. We're going to go with the old school one first, which is a surprise we haven't played it yet.
You know what? I did ask. I was like, haven't we played this already?
Yeah, I looked through everything, and we have not. Yars Revenge for the Atari 2600 came out in 1982. So
definitely retro.
It's a super basic game, but it's a lot of fun.
There's a lot of it's okay. How do I? Well, first of all, did you guys look up the plot to this game?
No, I did not.
Oh my god, it's like reading a science fiction novel. Colin, did you?
No.
Oh, okay. So I'll go off memory because it's more fun to see if I can actually retain the information that it spews at you. It's almost like a little comic book form. So humans go off into space, and kind of like the Fly, the radiation from getting into this separate little universe changes the flies into like these humanoid fly figures, and they develop their own culture and species and all that, and they colonize 4 planets. Okay, well, and then we get into like this almost Star Wars lore kind of situation where the 4th planet gets destroyed by another civilization called the Cubals or some shit, and the fly people called the Yars develop a cannon. Okay, like a defense cannon, but the targeting wasn't finished. So you are in the game the like fly soldier, and the cannon is targeting you as location to get to the like Cubal's base, and that's what your fly character on the screen is trying to get at on the right hand side, and you have to pick at the shield, whether it's pressing a button or just ramming up against the thing like a fly would, which I thought was cute.
That's the only way I could get it to shoot. I didn't know actually how to make it shoot.
Yeah. But there's like 3 things to avoid that's kind of coming at you. One is I'm just going to keep calling it Cubals. I don't even know if that's correct, but I'm pretty sure it starts with a Q.
Tile. Yeah, it's Qotile. Cotile?
Sure. So they're firing like a heat-seeking missile at you, which is just like a line on the screen that follows you around. Okay. Every once in a while, it'll fire like this giant circle projectile at you. Yeah, like a Death Star. Then on the other side is you trying to activate the cannon, but you have to move out of the way fast enough so it doesn't hit you and it hits the base that you're trying to pick at. So cool little mechanic. And then there's a
gauge where the thing is because it's going to follow you a little bit. So that was fun.
Right. And then there's a fourth mechanic in there where you have this like static electricity going down the center of the screen. It's like a protective barrier where nothing can hit you. But then the left side of the screen is a couple things can hit you, but a couple things on the right can't. There's actually a lot of like strategy and movement to it, which was very surprising. A lot of high-end level maneuverability that it gets you to do, plus going up and down the screen, which is a heavy advantage to trying to avoid various projectiles coming at you, that you can just go from the bottom to the top.
Yeah, I used that a lot to get out of the heat sinking missile thing.
Yeah, very, very good tactic there. And then once you destroy X amount of bases, then it changes colors and difficulty, and more things coming at you goes up accordingly. So you're going for high points. And so I played this for, 30, 40 minutes before putting it down, and I came out extremely satisfied.
Yeah, I was actually shocked, but the levels where the stuff you have to destroy is constantly moving. I didn't think Atari could pull that off.
Yeah, it seems like it's more like a 5200 type capability rather than something from the early 80s.
Yeah, so I was really surprised by this. It looked super basic when I looked at it, and it a little more complex, which I found fun.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the higher end Atari 2600 games to recommend here. That's my opinion on it. Colin, what do you think?
Yeah, I liked it. The gameplay was pretty enjoyable. There's a lot to keep track of, but it was I had around hum, giving it that eerie sci-fi feel. I can tell if I played this at a really young age, it would have freaked me out, as things tended to do back then. But at first I thought I couldn't go through that big static strip, because usually in games that's a danger area, but
I thought the same thing when I first turned it on.
Yeah, turns out it's the exact opposite. But yeah, I liked this one. I only played it for like maybe 10 minutes because that's all I had time for, but it was
kind of all you need to get the idea of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Still that time when arcade games were the baseline for every game.
So I don't have much else to say, so I'll say easy pass, actually. It's very surprising.
Yeah, I give it a pass.
Next game, Joey.
Okay. Well, did I say who made that? I don't think I said. Who designed? Well, Atari, of course. Okay. So
I vaguely remember reading the one programmer didn't get along with the people at Atari, so he quit and made his own company or something.
One guy.
I think I remember reading that.
Yeah, it's the guy who made Adventure. It was Warren something, and then he made Activision.
Ah, that would make sense. Yeah. That sounds familiar.
Makes sense.
Yeah, we talked about it in a previous episode.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Next game, Sheep, Dog, and Wolf, also known as Looney Tunes Sheep Raider, came out in 2001. Was developed by
Infogrames, yeah. we play a lot of shit from them.
That stupid R. This one surprised me. I thought it was going to suck.
I thought this was going to be total ass. Like that Bugs Bunny game we played years and years ago.
It's a branded game where it looks like it's just going to be a cash grab. And this game actually is fun, thought out, and a little difficult at times if you're just thinking you're just going to breeze through it.
It's a. I thought it was going to be a platformer. First of all,
Yeah.
not the case. It's a high-end puzzle game.
Yeah. With interesting puzzles to solve and interesting ways to do it.
And it's all within the Looney Tune universe. And at first, I had no idea who the characters were, but as soon as it showed a little video of the coyote and the sheepdog kind of duking it out, and then they hit the punch clock like they're clocking out of work, I was like, oh, it all came rushing back. I remember these two. It's like
actually,
fucking...
It's a wolf. I know you can mix them. He looks exactly like Wile E. Coyote.
He
but
sure
he is
does.
not.
But he has a
He is
red
a Ralph.
nose.
Yeah, he's Ralph the Wolf, who is exactly the same. And it doesn't help in this game that he actually chased the Roadrunner in the tutorial. So even the game doesn't get it right. But yeah, you're Ralph, not Wile E.
Yeah, but as soon as they hit the punch clock, all those childhood memories came back. It's like, I know who these guys are again. Okay. And then as I'm solving some of these puzzles, it's like it's straight out of episodes in Looney Tunes of using like elastic bands and trying to...
Yeah, I really like the elastic band. I was like, no way this is what I have to do. And it turned out it was true. I was like, oh, I love this game.
Yeah, if you watch the cartoon, and it'll show you how Ralph kind of utilizes a lot of the mechanics in this game to try to steal a sheep in the TV show. So I was all smiles playing this. Very shocked. Very shocked.
Yeah, I like that they had a lot of gags in there. There's one sign that says, are you sure you want to play this game? If you say no, you get hit with an anvil. There's another one where you have to push a boulder off to knock a teeter-totter to get items, but if you stand where you last pushed it, the boulder falls on top of you. So I just like the little things like that. I think it was a lot of fun.
There was a lot of attention to detail in between everything. You're on like a Daffy Duck TV show. You can swing the camera around and it shows like a Looney Tunes audience there, which I thought was cool.
I don't know if you play too much, because I only played the first 3 levels, I think. If after you get all the sheep, Marvin the Martian shows up and like ruins the show. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool little like Looney Tunes canon to this that if you're into just cartoons and Looney Tunes in general, like I can't imagine you walk away from this game not being satisfied.
Yeah.
What'd you think,
like
Colin?
interesting puzzles.
I only had time to watch a YouTube video of this one.
Oh no, this one you're gonna have to go back and play. You're gonna have to go out of your way and do it. I know you were sick, but definitely go out of your way and get some ROM copy and put it on your phone.
Did you
see what I can do?
Did you run off a cliff further than you're supposed to? And then they do the foot tapping to realize that there's no ground?
I didn't do that, but
you should do that.
Yeah,
take a cliff, you just run off. You just run and then you stop instantly. You're like, wait, you tap the ground, then you fall.
I'm telling you, it's filled with cool Looney Tunes gags throughout the game. I think just mechanically, one of my favorites was even if you die, quote unquote, there's no lives, right? You just kind of respawn and then try again kind of situation. And the mechanic of I read a comparison that this is like Metal Gear Solid in a lot of ways with the stealth elements, like going in bushes and tapping toes and trying to get out of the line of sight of the sheepdog. It all plays super well, and the fact is, once you get like caught, you're done. He comes at you like a bat out of hell. Like, no, go away.
There's sometimes you can get away, but it just puts you in a bad situation anyway because you have to repeat what you just did.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. So it's a one and done kind of situation if the sheepdog gets you. Very good enemy, I guess.
And speaking of the punch clock, did you find all the punch clocks each level?
I did.
Because you get an extra point. So
I did not do that.
There's always one in there. I found them in the 3 levels I played, so it was fun. Just exploring into
I should go back and do more of the attention to detail elements of that. I was more solve the puzzle, move on, play as much of the game forward as I can. So I played pretty linearly.
I need to know, are the cutscenes skippable? Because I feel that's a very important factor.
I didn't try.
I think
I was very
so.
entertained.
You can click and go through the dialogue. And I think at one point Daffy Duck got angry at me because I clicked X when he was trying to talk. He's like, and our contestant wants silence or something like that. So, so it's like, yeah, you can skip. Cutscene. I don't think there's really any. I mean, there's the dialogue boxes that you can press buttons to get through it faster. So I don't think you have to sit around and watch.
That helps.
Okay. All right. But I believe it was.
You don't have to do the tutorials. You can get around not doing them.
Yeah. I believe
Daffy's
it's
like,
level.
you want help?
I believe it's level 4 is where I got stuck. There's like this flute you got to play, and you sneak up behind the sheepdog. You play the flute. He's kind of asleep and hypnotized, and he follows you, and you have to make him go over a button with a boulder, right? But you're only given like 2 seconds to go get a sheep and try to steal it before he wakes back up. So there's like no time in order to do that. Because the other element that I kept struggling with for that particular part was the same button to pick up a sheep is the one to play the flute. So you have to then go through pressing the shoulder button to put the flute away, but that takes away one of your precious 2 seconds to do. So couldn't get past that, and that's where I stopped playing, unfortunately. So there's
Maybe
definitely
you have to set down lettuce and try to just.
I don't know. Maybe I'm doing
use
something wrong
lettuce.
there. There's an element I'm missing. But that's where I got stuck and stopped playing. But up until that point, I was having just a total blast going from area to area, getting sheep and throw them in the little circle. And the interaction with the game show is kind of fun. It brings another element to the comedy of Looney Tunes. Gets more characters in the game, basically.
Wiki says that Sam gets faster and faster as the levels go on, so you have to be
That would make
smarter and
sense.
smarter.
Yeah. Damn sheepdog. Need to get it drunk. Like the, what is it, the bulldog in the Alps or something?
Yeah.
Forget the name of that character. Yeah, very, very, very shocked. The game goes for about $30, out of box, just the disc. I honestly got to say, I think it's worth it.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think you might be right. I think this game is a lot of fun.
Pass.
Yeah, definitely pass.
Yeah, I'll pass it.
Okay. So our 2 games were Yars Revenge, Looney Tunes Sheep Raider. Colin, you got a favorite?
I think by default it's Yars, just because it's the only one I actually got to play.
Got some tears to give us?
Oh. Keep in mind, for Looney Tunes, it's informed entirely by what you guys are saying, and I'll just give them both A's.
Okay. Double A for Colin. My favorite's got to be Looney Tunes Sheep Raider. I'm a huge Looney Tunes fan. It's a big part of my childhood, and the fact that we got like a good puzzle game out of it, I am floored. This might shock you, but I'm going S on Looney Tunes and A on Yars Revenge.
Neat.
Joey?
Looney Tunes is my favorite. I'm going to give Yars a B, but I can deal with it getting an A overall. Looney Tunes, I'm going to give it an A. It would get an S if the camera was a little better.
Oh.
Camera angles got a little choppy, but I mean, that's the era, but I don't think I can give it an S.
All right, so both games get an A. Very successful episode. Very so did Reddit come through?
Reddit came through. So if you're looking for recommendations, they're pretty good for retro games.
Apparently. Look at that. Retro game Reddit recommends Got good scores overall. How about that? Okay, so we got one more episode in 2022. We're going to get one slipped in here in mid-December, and that'll be our last one for the year. We'll come back with kind of our retro game of the year in 2023 at some point when we reconvene. But my topic, as what everyone does in the middle of winter, farming. No winter theme here. We're going straight up harvesting. So a lot of farming simulators out there. Apparently, it's a resurgence of popularity, I guess, but that's my theme pick. It's basically 2 games that I've wanted to really give a good try, and I think I can do that about now. And that will do it for this episode. Guys, thanks for coming.
Bye.
Bye now.